We all may need to borrow money from time to time. In today's market, it's vital to find a lender who can give you the greatest number of options. Here at Community Bank of Dublin-Lawrence County, we can give you the credit options you deserve. You will receive one-on-one service from a helpful lender. Whether it's building your dream home or buying your first car, we'll work with you in every way we can. Community Bank of Dublin-Lawrence County offers the latest technology in the banking industry. We're putting common sense banking into practice every day. Come visit us soon and you'll see why Community Bank of Dublin-Lawrence County is the bank that service built.
Hi everyone, we'd like to welcome you to Real Talk. I'm your host, Pat Terrio, and we are here at Falcons Country here with Coach Torrance Pittman, head of the boys basketball team. How you doing today, Coach?
Doing good, doing good. How you doing today?
Doing very well. Now you guys are out here practicing pretty heavy, so we certainly appreciate you allowing us to come in today.
Yes. We're happy you're here. We're happy you're here. We've been waiting on you.
I know you have. I know. We're here now. We're here. All right. Okay, so listen, let's talk a little bit about yourself and then tell us about what's been going on this season with the Falcons.
Okay. Like most people know, I've been here for, this is my 10th year at the school. I've been coaching for 9 years. This is my 2nd year as the varsity head boys basketball coach. We currently are 8-8 right now. But we're getting better. We started off slow out the gates, but as we've been going along, we've been working on some things from last year, and we're starting to understand the system a lot better so far this year right now.
Now tell us about last year. You know, we always like to do an after-action review. How was last year's season and some of the players you lost, and then of course this year's season?
Last year we losing a Terrell Robinson. He was a senior last year, and trying to replace him, it was very hard. And so what we try to do this year is not actually replace the person, but replace the production that he brought to the team. It's been hard so far because he brought a lot of leadership to the team. He brought a lot of hustle plays. Everything he did, it was so. He plays so hard, so we've been still trying to find that, but I think we're almost getting there right now. This year's team is completely different from last year's team, personality-wise, skill set-wise, but they're starting to figure out their skill set inside the system. So we're working hard on that.
Absolutely. And what key things are you working on with the players? You know, because last year, as opposed to this year, you say you've got a little difference here, a little different flow of things. What do you work on specifically out here with the fellas?
We actually been working defensively a lot more. Last year we felt like we couldn't stop, we couldn't get the key stops at key situations. And so far this year we still haven't got there, but as the last 3 or 4 games we've been seeing ourselves getting them stops when we want to. We done had to change some things up this year, philosophy-wise, but we're starting to figure it out a little bit more.
That's good. That's good. And let's talk a little bit about conditioning.
Yes.
I mean, you know, we're not spring chickens ourselves, but when you see these teenagers out here, what do you do to get these boys conditioned and ready to be out there to be able to withstand all of the rigorous, you know, the time out there, the running, the movement, being able to stay in the game?
Yes. Our preseason workouts are really hard. We do a lot of running in our preseason to get them in basketball shape, and throughout the season we keep some conditioning things throughout practice to help them to stay in shape. We have them take care of their body. We try to feed them good. We try to provide them with some type of supplements throughout to help them out with their bodies and things like that.
Okay.
But they're in shape very well right now. And that's a thumbs up to Will Smith. He stays on them about that stuff like that.
The assistant. Okay, very good. Very good. And so you got other coaches, and we know you got Coach Paul Conyers as well.
Yes.
We'll get to speak with them to kind of see how you all work together as a team to make sure it runs smoothly. Now tell us about any key players that you have that you've definitely seen an improvement on.
I didn't see a big difference in Shaquan Wynn. He's number 3 from last year. He started the season off. He was our best player. There was a lot of games things that he did, we wouldn't even been close in the game. Jaquavius Cannon, he's been doing a good job. He's just been leading us. He ain't a scorer, he ain't the best, he ain't a basketball player, but he's been leading us and stuff like that. And everybody know about Marty Lewis, so he's our best scorer and stuff like that. So, but But we got a bunch of them that's coming through that's contributing somewhere. Jaylen Montford, he can shoot the lights out of it. So we got a bunch of them that's adding in somewhere.
How many seniors do you have this year now, Coach?
We have 3.
You've got 3 seniors.
Yes.
And so, so you've got a lot of young guys, too, that you're really having to get prepared to kind of step in and fill those shoes as well.
Yes, they're young, but there's experience, too. Because last year we put a lot of babies in the fight last year. So they may be young, but they are experienced. They are experienced. So we like that. We like the mixture that we have going there.
How was the leadership among the players, because back in the day when you just usually have one that was the standout, and now you're really trying to teach the kids to be a team. Do you have any leaders that stand out that really, really push the other boys to really keep going forward?
That's all Jaquavius Cannon. That's what he does. At times he just pushes, he pushes. One thing about it, he got a fire that's up inside him. He don't like to lose, and he don't like nobody to get in him or nothing like that. So what he does, he always pushing back, and the team seems rattle behind him when he get like that. Also.
And that's good to hear. And so now you're 8-8. So what can we expect to see from the Falcons finishing out this season?
Hopefully competing for a region championship.
Absolutely.
That's our goal now. We set the goal right after Christmas that we can compete for a region championship. So we're 1-2 in the region right now, but we're looking forward. We think we have a good shot.
Absolutely.
We have a good shot, but we gotta stay solid. That's our motto. Be solid. If we can be solid and stay the course, we'll be all right.
All right. Well, we thank you so much for being solid yourself, Coach Pittman. All right. This is Coach Pittman, everyone, head coach.
Yes. Thank you.
We are now here with the associate coach, Paul Conyers himself. How are you doing, Coach?
I'm well today. How are you?
Very well. Good to see you. We want to talk a little bit about you and your career as an athlete before we get into to what you do here with the Falcons. Okay? So we'll start with you. Go ahead.
Well, I guess you can call me a convert. I spent some time as a Dublin Fighting Irish member on the basketball team, and a lot of what we do here on a daily basis, I like to attribute that for what I learned over there. So it gave me a great foundation. Honestly, never thought I'd become a coach, but from the stuff that I was given over there, it really is enabling me to do my job here. So.
Well, I remember, when I would come back home, I would see you play, and I remember you played with such discipline. Would you say that that's how your coaching style is very disciplined?
Well, I mean, probably when you saw me play too, you probably didn't see that much of an athlete, but at the same time, I'm hoping what we try to give our kids is that discipline, and then also a cerebral mindset of how to approach the game, more so from the mental strengths that you can gain from, just getting a competitive edge out here.
How was it for you to transition now from being an athlete, to actually being out here and training these young men?
It's quite difficult. From the
explain that to them out there, because I understand it.
from the standpoint of being the one that the message was conveyed to being the one that is conveying the message.
Right.
And understanding too, from the time period when I was learning, and the generation that's a little bit different now. And so just trying to get an understanding of today's young man and their challenges, and then also how that also is compounded with the fact of what they've got to learn out here with us. So it's been a challenge, but I think for me, one of the things that's most rewarding is that you see them grow as basketball players, but we have an opportunity to mold them as young men.
Absolutely, absolutely, and you're definitely a great example of that. And so what is your responsibility when you're talking about the coaching team, the coaching staff here, working with Coach Pittman and Coach Smith?
I've been pretty much in charge of defense. We try to incorporate a style that's a little bit upbeat and try to force some tempo, but then at the same time control. But we've gone through some bumps. We've had some games where we're not as stout as we'd like to be, but the guys, they're picking up our concept. We put it in the summer, and it's still some growing pains. But along with the defense, just the overall management of what we do here, I try to pretty much incorporate a lot of what I just know to help in any way we can.
And when you talk about defense, you need a strong defense, because defense stops the other team from scoring.
Indeed. But Coach Pittman, his philosophy is score, score, score. And I played guard in high school, and that's one of the things I knew I could shoot the basketball, but at the same time I knew the importance of having to be able to stop somebody.
Absolutely.
In the league that we're in, most certainly, defense is one of our stronger points if we can ever get a hold on that.
Absolutely. And you talk about how things have changed for athletes. What have you seen change? Of course, I remember like years ago there was such a different drive.
Right.
What have you seen change to where you've had to yourself, really work on with these young men?
Well, in my era, really, that was the only thing to do. We didn't have a lot of distraction from social media
Right.
or a lot of the electronic devices that they have at their disposal. So really, for me, time at the park was my refuge.
That was.
And so they have so many other outlets other than basketball. So sometimes I wonder if that's one of the things that can attribute to some of the decaying skills that we see, not just in high school, but even at the pro level.
Right.
I think for me that's the biggest difference. A lot of distractions, and they still got to be students.
Right.
And with that too, you see a lot of more demand in the classroom. So.
And what do you do to keep them focused? I mean, because you're right, there's so many other avenues and activities out there that they could be doing. And when you're talking about technology, where they could be texting and all, what do you do to keep them focused, to keep their mind on the game? Because I know as an athlete, I was so driven, and so I ate, slept, and drank basketball.
Right.
There were no cell phones, I didn't have a computer or nothing like that. But I was so fixed on being the best athlete that I could be. I didn't have those distractions.
Well,
How do you keep them focused when they have those things?
Well, I think too, what we have to understand too is that can be a benefit to them. What we're trying to use a lot of the technology and how we watch our film and them having access to it. I know that could have been beneficial for me, but they've got their own account. So, and then too, using social media in a lot of ways, like what the barbershop might have been for us. In regards to
That's right. If you could tweet in the barbershop, you would.
So it's some different things, but like I said, it's different. But at the same time, I do appreciate what they've got in front of them and how they try to approach being a student athlete here.
And so they're staying level-headed. You've noticed that, even though they have those different things, but these boys are staying level-headed, which is great.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, Coach, we certainly appreciate you, everything you do,
You
all
as well.
here on the court, in the classroom,
Yes, ma'am.
at home with Sheila and the twins, right?
Indeed.
All right. We appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Coach Paul Conyers. All right, we've got Coach Will Smith himself, the man with the plan of the Falcons. How are you doing, Coach?
Fine, and you?
Doing very well. Let's talk a little bit about you.
Yes.
And then let's talk about your role here with these Falcons.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm assistant coach Will Smith. I've been with the Falcons for the past, going on 8 years now. I'm afforded an opportunity by the former coach, Jimmy Williams, and I've been enjoying every bit of it.
Now, you're an athlete yourself, right? I mean, we talked a little bit off camera, and you kind of told us about how athletic you were.
Yes, I actually played football, football at Waynesboro High School, class of 1985.
Awesome.
Purple Hurricanes.
The Purple Hurricanes.
And did attend Savannah State University, and I was a walk-on baseball player.
Fantastic, but now you're coaching basketball.
Yes.
How has that transition been for you?
Well, being an athlete, you always want to be around sports, any kind of sports, so that's very important to me.
Right.
And being able to give back to the young men.
Absolutely. And tell us what role do you play in this whole coaching staff of you three? Because, you got the offense, you got defense. What is your strength?
Well, my biggest strength is for organization, discipline, and conditioning coach. I try to make sure these guys are well conditioned prior to the season, throughout the season, and they're well disciplined, trying to stay focused on what we're trying to accomplish during this season.
Absolutely. Coach Pittman gave you some kudos. He said you really work these boys to make sure they are conditioned and that they're not huffing and puffing running up and down this court.
Being served in the Marine Corps and had that opportunity, I try to instill those type things into them.
Boy.
Yes. So they think I'm pretty rough.
Absolutely. But it's necessary.
Most definitely.
So what improvements have you seen with the boys? Because, you can see some teams and you can tell whether or not they're truly conditioned, towards the end of the game when you see that it's like they just kind of lost the win.
I think for our young guys is that they've gotten stronger. They've got some kind of conditioning, whereas they're not giving up and falling apart. We're able to finish in the fourth quarter, whereas last couple of years we struggled with that. But I think we've got a good group of young men now that are trying to do their best to finish up what we started.
Very good. Now, what adjustments have you had to make in order to get them to where they are today?
Well, as coaches, we have to find ways to cut some minutes, know when somebody's winded, and then give them a break. That's very important if you want to make sure they're there in the fourth quarter.
That's right.
Yes.
You know, I'm going to tell you this from back in the day. I remember when I was the point guard, and I would be so tired, and I would be pretty much begging the coach to take me out.
Yes. But you never let your enemy know you're tired.
I know.
Never.
Never let them know you're exhausted.
Exactly.
Well, we certainly appreciate everything that you do, Coach, because these boys, they seem very well conditioned, and they seem very disciplined with that.
Well, we greatly appreciate it, and we're going to keep on doing what we need to do to fly high over here at Falcon Nation.
All right. Well, we're proud of all the work that you all do.
Thank you very much.
All right. This is Coach Will Smith, everyone. All right. We've got the shooting guard himself here, Jaquavius Cannon. How are you?
All right. How you doing?
Very good. You know, I like to call you man every now and again. Is that all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and let us know what you've been doing out here.
My name is Jaquavius Cannon. I play basketball for East Lawrence. I also run track, and I just been out here just to play.
Just to play. You've been playing here for 4 years in basketball, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're doing great things out there on the track field, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now tell us about your family.
My mom named Rochelle Cannon. I got a sister named Takira, and a brother named Jatavius Cannon.
Are you the big brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you're the big brother at home, and you're also out here being a leader out here on the basketball court. And so you've been playing for, what, 4 years here?
Yes, ma'am.
And you played, I'm sure you played in middle school as well?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now let's talk about how you've improved through the years. Have you seen a difference in the way you play through the years?
Yes, ma'am. My attitude, defensive-wise, and seeing people on the court.
And so what things have you had to do to actually improve in those areas?
Work on it.
Work on it. And you talking about with your attitude. Now, what have you done? You know, that's work in progress, isn't it? Because
yes,
it's like, you know, you're an intensive player. Would you say that you are?
Yes, ma'am.
And being an intensive player, you don't want to lose. You don't want to ever fall slack. And so you have to be able to balance that. And so what do you do as a leader to help these other guys to stay on task?
Well, stay focused and tell them to stay positive and play hard.
And play hard. And so when you're off season, do you do other things on your own to kind of work on some things as an athlete?
Yes, ma'am. I go to the track.
Go to the track and run. What was your best time this past season?
10.55.
In the what?
In the 100.
In the 100. You're a little Speedy Gonzalez then, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And so this season, so how would you say you've been playing this season if you had to critique yourself?
Well, I had an injury at the beginning of the season, so that kind of pushed me back farther.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came back, I've been playing pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna say great,
But what kind of injury did you have? Because when you talk about injury, there's rehab, there's rehabilitation, and trying to get yourself back out there. You're not always 100% starting out. So you've been able to keep that okay mentally?
Yes, ma'am. I had hurt my knee the last game of the football season.
Mm-hmm. And how you doing now? You doing pretty good?
Yes, ma'am.
Still have to take it easy?
Yes, ma'am.
Still have to take it easy. Still have to make sure you're doing your physical therapy and stuff. All right. So is there any other things that you want to share with us that you can see happening here with the Falcons?
No, ma'am.
All right. Well, listen, we appreciate everything you're doing, and we're very proud of you.
All right.
All right. Jaquavius Cannon, everyone. All right. And we've got Jaylen Montford here, a shooting guard with us, and also a senior. How are you doing, Jaylen?
Fine. How are you doing, man?
You're sweating. So we've definitely caught you in the middle of an intense practice, didn't we?
Yes. I'm trying to work to get better.
Absolutely. So talk to us a little bit about yourself and tell us what you've been doing.
Man, I'm just trying to play basketball, you know, get my work. Education come first.
Mm-hmm.
God, then education.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
What other sports do you play besides basketball?
I
Is
just
this
love
your main
basketball.
sport? This
Yes,
your main
ma'am.
sport? And how long have you been playing?
Ever since I was small.
Wow. And is this something like when you talk about you're a senior, do you plan on going off to college and wanting to play basketball as well?
Yes, I applied for Georgia State last week.
That's fantastic. We hope that you get that. That would be
Sure.
so awesome. So awesome. And tell us about your family.
My mom she's a single parent. Stay with her. I got two sisters. One stay in Atlanta and one of them going to Georgia State also.
So your mama handles things, doesn't
Yes.
it? Shout out to your mom. All right. And so what improvements have you seen in your game through the years that you could share with us?
I'm just trying to work on my defense, get that up, my ball handling, because I'm already a shooter, so.
Already a shooter, yeah, and so ball handling. What do you do now? I remember you used to do certain drills. Are there certain drills you still work on?
My ball handling and stuff, yes, ma'am, like through the cones, and mainly we just scrimmage out here, so work on it then.
Now, how are you as a leader? What do you do to motivate your team?
That's what I tell them, let's go and get this W.
That's
so
right.
we win the championship.
Going to get this W, that's right, that's right. And so how do you have a good relationship with the boys? Because you're talking about, you all a team, and it's pretty much like you guys are like a family too.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so how's that for you?
I mean, they're pretty good. Sometimes it can get out of hand, but you can work it out.
Absolutely, and you all are mature enough and you all work it out and are still effective out there on the court.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, well, we certainly appreciate you, and we'll let you get back to doing what you're doing.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. We are here with another senior, Saquon Wynn. How you doing, fella?
Fine, how you doing?
Doing very well. Such a deep voice. Now, Saquon, you and I met at homecoming. Talk to us a little bit about you, and let's talk about what your job is as a leader on the court, okay? Tell us about you and your family.
Well, my mom, she works for the state at child support in Macon, and my dad, he welds all over the country.
All over the country. So do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have a brother, he attends Savannah State University.
So you the baby brother?
Yes, ma'am.
What about your academics? Now tell us how you're doing in school.
I'm doing very well right now, actually.
How do you keep it balanced?
Hard work.
Are you playing any other sports besides basketball?
No, ma'am.
So this is it, basketball?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, do you have aspirations of actually going to play college basketball?
Yes, ma'am.
You are?
Yes, ma'am.
That's nice. And so let's talk about you as a leader out here on the court. What do you do to help motivate the fellas? Because, you are a senior, and so a lot of it is expected of you. How's your attitude, and how do you represent being a good leader out there on the court?
You have to maintain a good attitude because, they look up to you, so you have to maintain a good attitude. No matter how bad the situation gets, you have to maintain a good attitude.
Absolutely. So when you see some of the players, kind of getting at it with someone on the opposing team, how do you diffuse that?
You just got to talk to them, let them know that ain't what you needed to be doing.
And how have you improved through the years? What kind of improvements have you seen? What position do you play, first of all?
All of them.
All of them?
Yes, ma'am.
How have you improved through the years?
Tremendously. Like, the coaches tell me all the time how much I have improved since the previous years. Yes,
and you see that yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Well, we're certainly proud of you, of what you're doing out there on the fields and how on the court, and how you're you're setting the example for others to follow.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, keep doing great things, son.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.